Chosen one. There comes a moment in life when the noise around you begins to fade, not because the world has grown quiet, but because your soul has learned the language of divine stillness. You begin to realize that silence is not weakness, it is alignment. When God moves on your behalf, when unseen hands begin to rearrange the pieces of your destiny, it is not your voice that must lead, it is your faith. Many do not understand this moment, because the human heart longs to explain, to defend, to prove that it is chosen, to show the world that the battle is being won. But the chosen one knows, when God acts, silence becomes your most powerful testimony. In that silence, your enemies grow confused, your critics grow restless, and even your doubts begin to lose their footing. The noise that once demanded your attention fades into insignificance, and you begin to feel a different kind of movement, one that comes not from your hands, but from heaven itself. Before we go deeper into this message, I want you to pause for a moment. Breathe. Watch this video till the very end, because something within these words is meant to awaken a truth inside you that you've always carried. And if these words speak to your spirit, I want you to write in the comments your warmest wishes and the number 66. This is a chapter about wishes. Every word of kindness you release, every intention you write down, vibrates through the unseen, echoing back to you multiplied. As you type your wish, imagine it already fulfilled. Let your gratitude fill the space where doubt once lived. Chosen one, your destiny awaits. Click the hype button, like this video, subscribe, and walk with us into the light. Now, chosen one, listen carefully, because silence in this season is not passive. It is sacred. It is an act of surrender, not to defeat, but to divine timing. When God acts, He does not need your defense. He does not require you to justify His miracles or explain His favor to those who cannot perceive it. The same people who once questioned your worth will stand in quiet awe when they see what has been unfolding behind closed doors. There is a time for speaking and a time for stillness, and when the Creator moves, the chosen understand that their only task is to hold their peace and remain anchored in faith. You may feel as though everything is shifting beneath your feet. Things you once depended on may be crumbling. Familiar paths may be closing. Relationships may be fading away without explanation. Do not panic. When divine power rearranges your world, it often dismantles what no longer serves your growth. The chosen ones go through a season where God's hand is heavy, not to punish, but to prepare. You are being positioned, refined, and strengthened for what's coming next. The silence around you is not emptiness, it is construction. It is the sound of destiny being built in the background. There is something beautiful about divine movement. It rarely announces itself. The greatest transformations happen quietly. Seeds do not shout as they sprout beneath the soil. The sun does not roar when it rises each morning. The heart does not make noise as it beats faithfully within you. Likewise, when God moves in your life, He does so with precision, patience, and perfect timing. You will only understand it in hindsight. What feels like stillness now is actually acceleration beyond your sight. Do not be tempted to respond to every misunderstanding, every false rumor, every person who tries to drag you back into old energies. The chosen one learns that silence is not a lack of power. It is proof of it. To remain still when provoked, to smile when misjudged, to trust when tested. These are the signs of someone who has mastered the art of divine patience. You are not losing your voice. You are tuning it to a higher frequency. There is wisdom in your restraint. There is victory in your stillness. This is your season of divine reversal. What was meant to break you will build you. What was meant to silence you will amplify your purpose. You do not need to announce your comeback. It will reveal itself through the evidence of your transformation. Those who underestimated you will witness a rise they cannot comprehend. But you must remember, when God acts, remain silent. Let Him speak through outcomes, not explanations. Let Him justify you with elevation, not words. There are people who will not understand why your silence irritates them. They are used to your reaction, to your need to explain yourself. But this season requires a new version of you, one who no longer fights for attention, one who no longer seeks validation from those who cannot see your worth. God is your defender now. Every misunderstanding, every accusation, every delay, He is rewriting them into testimonies. What looks like rejection is often protection. What feels like an ending is often preparation. Do you feel it, chosen one? That subtle shift within your spirit? The sense that something bigger than you is moving in unseen dimensions. That is God acting on your behalf. He is closing doors that once trapped you, removing people who drained you, and opening pathways that align with your true calling. The silence you feel is the sound of divine orchestration. You are not forgotten. You are being positioned for something greater than you can imagine. When you stay silent in faith, your energy speaks louder than words. The universe hears your surrender. Heaven recognizes your patience. Every time you resist the urge to prove your worth, you are proving your trust in divine timing. There is a unique beauty in walking through storms with peace. The chosen one does not panic. They observe. They know that chaos is often camouflage for creation. Behind every disruption, something is being born. In this season, your silence is your shield. It keeps your energy pure, your focus clear, your spirit grounded. Do not allow distractions to pull you into unnecessary battles. You are not called to every fight. You are called to victory. There are moments when saying nothing is the loudest declaration of faith. The world may interpret your stillness as weakness, but heaven knows it is strength. You are walking through a sacred transformation. The people around you may not understand it. Some will distance themselves. Others will misread your silence as arrogance. Let them. You no longer owe anyone an explanation for your evolution. You are not who you used to be, and that's exactly the point. The chosen ones are constantly being reshaped by divine hands, refined by unseen fire, and prepared for purposes too great for explanation. Remember this: when God acts, you don't need to force what's already destined. You don't need to shout for doors to open. They will open on their own. You don't need to chase opportunities. They will recognize your frequency. You don't need to argue with those who doubt you. They will witness the evidence themselves. Your only assignment is to stay in alignment, remain humble, and protect your peace. In silence, your spirit grows stronger. You begin to hear whispers of guidance that were once drowned by noise. You begin to see signs you once overlooked. You realize that everything is connected. Every delay, every detour, every disappointment. You understand that the hand of God was always at work, even in moments you mistook for loss. You learn to say thank you for what didn't happen, because you start to see how it saved you from what could have destroyed you. Your silence in this season is not the absence of movement. It is the presence of divine focus. It is the moment before the breakthrough, the stillness before the dawn. You are being taught to trust without evidence, to believe without proof, to hold peace while everything else trembles. This is how chosen ones are forged, not through comfort, but through the discipline of faith. There will be moments when your mind screams to act, to speak, to explain, but hold back. Let God finish what He started. The same hands that built the universe are now arranging your life with precision. The same energy that holds the stars in place is now working things together for your good. If you could see the scale of what's unfolding, you would understand why silence is necessary. This is not the time to fight with words. It is the time to stand in quiet confidence. You are not behind. You are exactly where you're meant to be. Every closed door, every silent season, every unanswered prayer, it all serves a purpose. The chosen one learns to see purpose in pauses, direction in detours, and blessings in what appears broken. This is your season of divine movement, but you must move differently. Less reaction, more reflection. Less talking, more trusting. Less proving, more becoming. The power of this moment lies in your restraint. The ones who once underestimated you will soon see what happens when a chosen one lets God act. The rise will be silent but undeniable. The change will be gentle but permanent. You won't have to announce it. Your energy will speak for itself. Hold your peace, chosen one. The season you prayed for is already in motion. The same silence that feels uncomfortable now will soon become your sanctuary. You are not being ignored. You are being observed by heaven. The spotlight will find you when the preparation is complete. Until then, remain still, remain faithful, remain silent. For this is your season. And when God acts, no voice, not even yours, is needed to explain what has already been written. There comes a point in the chosen one's journey when the silence itself begins to teach. It becomes a language not of emptiness but of revelation. What once felt like waiting now feels like preparation. You begin to notice that even in stillness, your spirit is expanding, your faith is maturing, and your perception of time begins to change. When you stop striving to make things happen, you begin to realize that things are already happening for you. The stillness was never a pause, it was a bridge. It was a sacred in-between space where God could whisper instructions without interruption. You see, chosen one, this is the paradox of divine movement. It often appears as stillness to those who lack vision. But you, who are tuned to divine timing, can feel it. The quiet hum of destiny beneath the surface. The spiritual pulse of something forming that cannot yet be named. The chosen one's silence is not born out of exhaustion, but wisdom. You have learned that not every action requires your hands, and not every battle requires your sword. There are seasons when your only weapon is your calm, and that calm speaks louder than confrontation. It says to the world, I am no longer ruled by reaction. I am led by revelation. Your calm tells your enemies they no longer have access to your emotions. It tells the universe that you have stepped into a higher state of trust. It tells heaven that you are ready for manifestation because you have mastered the test of patience. This is the sacred transformation that takes place within silence, the rearranging of your internal world. You begin to detach from old narratives, from the need to control outcomes, from the fear that nothing is happening. You start to sense that what you once called delay is really divine protection. There is purpose in every pause, and once you accept that, You stop chasing and start aligning. You realize that the energy you used to waste on worry is now being converted into creative power. The chosen one learns that peace is a form of progress. Sometimes the silence grows heavy. It feels like you are standing at the edge of a breakthrough that refuses to announce itself. You pray, you wait, you listen, and still, there are no visible signs. In that quiet, your faith is refined like gold. God hides His hand not to withhold, but to strengthen your sight. You are being trained to see beyond the surface, to discern movement in the invisible. The chosen one knows that faith is not about seeing results. It's about feeling the pulse of divine order in the unseen. That pulse is your confirmation, that gentle knowing that somehow, even in stillness, something greater is unfolding. In this sacred silence, many around you will misread your calm as disengagement. They will wonder why you no longer argue, why you no longer rush, why you no longer prove. They will not understand that you have shifted from needing to be understood to simply being aligned. Let them misunderstand. Their confusion is proof that you have ascended to a frequency they cannot yet perceive. The chosen one learns that misunderstanding is often a sign of elevation. The higher you rise, the less noise you need. When God acts, the chosen one does not announce it. They feel it. They sense the shift. They recognize the pattern. They witness the quiet dismantling of everything that once hindered their growth. You begin to see how the things that left your life were never losses. They were releases. You begin to see that your disappointments were disguised instructions. Every closed door, every delayed plan, every silent night was working together to teach you divine restraint. You are being trained not to react to everything that moves, but to recognize what truly matters. And this is where the power of silence deepens. Because when you remain silent during divine action, you create space for God to reveal Himself fully. If you rush to explain, you limit the mystery. If you rush to act, you interrupt the masterpiece. When you step back, you make room for heaven to step forward. The chosen one learns that silence is not withdrawal, it is collaboration. You are allowing divine timing to complete what it began without interference. There will be moments when your silence feels like isolation, when it seems that everyone else is moving faster, achieving more, speaking louder. But remember this: speed is not progress. Noise is not power. You are being developed in depth, not display. While others rush ahead, you are being rooted. What grows fast often fades quickly, but what grows deeply cannot be shaken. The chosen one understands that this is not a season of exposure. It is a season of establishment. God is building your foundation in the quiet so that when the elevation comes, it will not collapse under pressure. Silence is not an escape from the world. It is an entry into divine awareness. It is in silence that you begin to hear what cannot be spoken, see what cannot be shown, and feel what cannot be touched. The stillness of this season is not meant to punish you. It's meant to heighten your sensitivity to spiritual truth. In silence, your discernment sharpens. You begin to recognize energies, intentions, and directions that were once invisible to you. You start to see how certain people, places, and habits were only holding you back, and instead of resisting their departure, you now bless their exit. That is growth. That is divine maturity. You are no longer the person who needs to control the outcome. You have learned that control is the opposite of trust. You have learned to rest, not because everything is perfect, but because you know who orchestrates the imperfection. The chosen one begins to see life not as a series of random events, but as a carefully woven design. Every thread, every color, every delay has meaning. The silence is the loom where destiny is woven, and patience is the hand that holds it steady. As this season unfolds, you may notice that your desires are changing. What once mattered to you now feels distant. What once consumed your attention now feels irrelevant. That is the evidence of transformation. God is purifying your appetite, refining your focus, and removing distractions that no longer resonate with your higher calling. The chosen one does not crave attention. They crave alignment. You no longer seek to be seen. You seek to be sent. There is a quiet confidence rising within you, one that does not need validation to exist. You do not need to prove your worth to anyone. You do not need to defend what God is doing in your life. The evidence will speak for itself. In fact, the more you try to explain, the less people will understand. But when you stay silent, when you remain centered in faith, the results become undeniable. The chosen one knows that manifestation is the best explanation. And in the stillness, you begin to realize that silence has its own rhythm. It breathes, it listens, it responds. When you rest in it, you start to move differently. You stop rushing to speak, and you begin to observe. You stop forcing outcomes, and you begin to allow flow. You stop chasing signs, and you begin to recognize that you are the sign. The chosen one realizes that being is more powerful than doing. Presence is more powerful than performance. This is your moment to embrace divine peace, not as a temporary feeling, but as a permanent posture. You have reached a spiritual maturity that allows you to trust even when you cannot trace. The silence that once felt unbearable now feels sacred. It has become your protection, your confirmation, your strength. Because when God acts, no explanation is necessary. What is meant for you will find you. What belongs to you will recognize you. And what was never aligned with you will naturally fall away. Hold your peace, chosen one. The silence you dwell in now will soon give birth to the sound of victory. It will not be a loud noise, but a steady realization, a calm awareness that everything you waited for has arrived. You will look back and see that nothing was wasted. Every quiet night, every unanswered question, every tear, all of it was part of your refinement. And in that moment, you will smile, not because you understand everything, but because you finally understand why silence was necessary. You are entering a phase of fulfillment, not loud, not rushed, not chaotic, but divine, peaceful, and complete. The silence was the sign that heaven was working. This is your season. Do not break it with unnecessary noise. Let grace do the talking. Let results speak. Let your peace announce your victory. When God acts, remain silent and watch how everything begins to align effortlessly, beautifully, perfectly, just for you. There comes a time when silence becomes more than a choice. It becomes a shield. The chosen one learns that quiet is not the absence of action. It is the preservation of power. Every word you do not speak, every argument you choose not to enter, every explanation you decide to withhold strengthens your alignment with divine will. In this stillness, you begin to recognize that not everyone deserves access to your energy, and not every situation requires your voice. You learn to discern between what is worthy of your attention and what is simply noise. The chosen one's silence becomes sacred ground, a place where strength regenerates and wisdom is born. The more you dwell in silence, the more you notice that peace has its own sound. It whispers guidance through intuition. It nudges you toward opportunities you cannot explain. It tells you when to move and when to wait, when to speak and when to hold back. The world may call it hesitation, but heaven calls it obedience. You are learning that timing is everything, and that divine timing cannot be forced. It must be followed. The chosen one is being taught to live by rhythm, not reaction, to move with grace, not impulse. As the days pass, the silence begins to reveal truths that noise had hidden. You start to see the motives behind people's actions. You start to understand why certain doors closed, why some friendships ended, and why certain opportunities slipped away. You realize that if they had stayed, they would have limited you. The silence exposes what words could never explain. It shows you who truly stands with you, and who only stood near you because of what you carried. This revelation does not come with bitterness, but with freedom. The chosen one is no longer tied to illusions. They are anchored in truth. The process of becoming requires the courage to be misunderstood, and the chosen one must accept that not everyone will understand the way God is moving in your life. To those still trapped in noise, your silence looks like absence. They think you've given up, that you've fallen back, that you've lost direction. But what they cannot see is that you are not stepping back. You are being pulled inward. You are being hidden, not forgotten. The chosen ones are often concealed before they are revealed. This is the season where your roots deepen quietly before the world witnesses your bloom. In this sacred concealment, you are learning patience beyond understanding. You begin to see that faith is not just waiting. It is waiting without losing peace. It is trusting that every unseen detail is being handled perfectly. It is believing that even when you hear nothing, something is being said on your behalf in the spiritual realm. Silence becomes your intercession. Every time you hold your tongue, you are letting your faith speak for you. And faith always speaks louder in heaven than fear ever could on earth. This silence, though often misunderstood, is your confirmation. You are being shifted into alignment with divine will. The path ahead is not one you will have to chase. It will unfold naturally as you continue to surrender. Your only task is to stay centered, grounded, and grateful. Gratitude, even in the quiet, multiplies your blessings. It reminds you that every breath is a gift, every pause a purpose, every delay a direction. The chosen one learns that peace is not found in the absence of storms, but in the awareness of divine presence within them. The chosen one does not panic when the familiar falls apart. They know that endings are merely invitations for beginnings to arise. When something leaves, it makes space for something greater to enter. Silence teaches you to stop clinging to what is fading and to start trusting what is forming. It shows you that release is not loss, it is liberation. And once you understand that, you no longer resist the transitions. You welcome them with open hands, knowing that everything leaving your life has served its purpose. When God acts, you begin to see a quiet order returning to your world. Situations that once seemed impossible start to shift. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach begin to reappear, but now in alignment with your purpose. People who truly belong in your journey find their way back in sincerity, while those who were distractions drift away effortlessly. This is the silent sorting of divine timing. You are being refined through separation, not for punishment, but for preparation. The chosen one is being sculpted into peace itself. Your reactions are slower, your discernment sharper, your spirit lighter. The things that used to steal your joy no longer have power over you. You begin to walk differently, think differently, even breathe differently. There's a quiet confidence rising inside you, not arrogance but awareness. You know who you are and whose you are. You no longer seek to be understood because you understand yourself through divine reflection. In this silence, something extraordinary begins to happen. You realize that you are no longer the same person who started this journey. The old version of you, the one that reacted, that worried, that needed to prove, has dissolved. You are being reborn in calm. This stillness is your chrysalis. Inside it, the fragments of your former self are transforming into the wings of your next chapter. You do not rush this process. You let it unfold in its time, trusting that the same hands that designed your destiny will perfect its unfolding. The chosen one's silence carries authority. It speaks to forces unseen, declaring that you are under divine protection. It tells the universe that you are not to be disturbed, that your peace is non-negotiable. It shields you from chaos because you no longer resonate with confusion. Silence becomes your sanctuary, your temple, your armor. You walk through challenges not with fear, but with quiet assurance. You know that the outcome is already written, and your only task is to stay aligned with the author. The world may look at your silence and assume stagnation, but you know better. You know that God often does his best work when you appear still. The soil looks silent, yet life is forming beneath it. The night sky looks quiet, yet galaxies are expanding within it. The ocean seems calm, yet currents move with immense power beneath the surface. So too, in your silence, miracles are in motion. And when the time is right, that quiet work will reveal itself. What was hidden will rise, not with noise, but with undeniable grace. The silence that once tested you will become the very proof of your transformation. Everything that grew in the unseen will bloom in its season, effortlessly, beautifully, and with purpose. So keep your peace, chosen one. Stay still in faith. For even now, beneath the calm, destiny is moving, and soon the world will see what silence was preparing all along.